What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about how to end your lease early. You signed up for a 36-month lease, you've been in the car 1 year, and you want to know how you can get out of that lease early and move on with your life. Well, you've got options. We're going to talk about them right now. Welcome back to the channel. Now let's get right into it. People want to know how you can end your lease early, how you can get out of your lease if you signed up with it and something changed in your life. And you know, lots of times people ask, why would you be wanting to end your lease early? Well, here's some examples. People lose their jobs, people get furloughed, or they get laid off, or something changes in their life and they have to stop making this payment on a vehicle, and they want to know what options they have to break out of this lease early. And today we're going to go through that so you understand exactly what you need to do if you want to get out of your lease early. But first, let's talk about the differences between a loan and a lease. A loan and a lease. Most of us have had a vehicle loan before. They usually range from terms 60 months, 63 months, 72 months, 5-year loans or 6-year loans, right? That's typically what we see in the marketplace today. And what makes that particular contract different from an actual lease contract? So let's discuss it a little bit so you can understand it. And I think you'll find a lot of similarities, just like I do. Well, let's take a look at the screen for a second. Let's take a look at the 60-month loan example, in which you can see that it has a start date and an end date. So basically, you're going to have the price of the car, the taxes, the interest rate, all spread out over 60 months. Here's what your payment is. And then right here, you can see this is the total of the payments for 60 months. So if you make all 60 of those payments, you own that car. Now, what we don't hear a lot is what happens if you get 3 years into this and you want to break that contract and get out of it and stop making payments. Nobody seems to talk about that. They talk about it a lot when it comes to leasing, like how do they get out early, but when they sign a 60-month contract, they seem not to think about it as much. Maybe because it's the perception that you own the car and you have lots more options, but I think after this video, you'll find they're really similar. So first thing, if you want to get out of this 60-month contract after 36 months, you can do that. You have several options. You can either sell that car for more than the actual payoff amount. The bank will have a payoff amount that you owe them in order to get the title to that car. So all you need to do is sell that vehicle for more than that buyout and then give the bank their money, and then they'll send you the title. The other way of doing that is taking the vehicle to a dealer, going online and having someone buy the car. As long as you get more money than the buyout, you can do that and get out of that contract, and it is finished. The second thing you can do, even though it's only been 3 years into a 60-month term, is you can trade that car in. So you can take that vehicle into a dealership, trade it in for another car, and there are some major advantages that we won't get into when it comes to trading in a car, like tax savings, but it is a little bit easier to trade in a car that you're not leasing versus having an actual 60-month loan. Because you do have that, your name is listed as the owner, so you can use that vehicle as a trade-in and save money on the difference of the new car. So those are the ways that you can get out of an actual loan. Like you signed a 60-month loan, and you know it's only been 3 years and you want out. So there you go. That's one way of doing it if you're looking at a loan. Now we compare that to a lease. They're usually 24 months, 36 months. I don't recommend doing longer than 36 months because most vehicle warranties are only 36 months. And so you want to try and keep this vehicle under warranty the entire time you have it. And so that's why I'm usually talking about 36-month lease contracts. Now let's say you are in this lease, right? You signed a 36-month lease. Your payment's $350 a month. You have been in the vehicle for 1 year and made a total of 12 payments. And something's changed in your life and you want to get out of the lease. How do you do that? So basically, you're going to be left with a few options yourself. So you can make the remaining payments. You have 24 payments remaining. So you take that $350 times the remaining payments, and you write a check, and you can turn the car back in. Now, people would ask, you know, if you're going to make all those payments, why wouldn't you just keep the car? So another thing that your comments people could put in is there anything else you could do with that car? If you've got the money to make all of those payments, maybe you could rent that car out or do something else with it under your lease contract before the end of the lease. I don't have experience on that, but I know that's one of the options you have, is to make the remaining payments and then turn the car in. Along with that, you're going to have to make a turn-in. You have to pay a turn-in fee, It's called a disposition fee in leases, and it's usually $350 to $400. So you'll have to make the remaining payments, the turn-in fee, and you'll also be responsible for any mileage overage that you had on the vehicle, as well as excess wear and tear. So if you had major damage to the vehicle, they're going to bill you for that. If you went over on the miles in your contract, it's going to tell you have to pay 15-20 cents a mile. So you're going to have to pay all of that, and then you can turn the vehicle in. Now, I know that sounds horrible, but it is really similar to the regular loan. So, you know, the bank isn't just going to let you out of it if you do a 60-month contract, nor is the leasing company. They're both just as stringent with those contracts. The leasing one is a little bit more difficult because you don't have any ownership of the car. So if you're going to make those remaining payments and you've got the cash to do it, you are really giving that car back to them to do whatever they wish with, and they've gotten all the money from you. So what else can you do? Step number 2 for ending a lease early is you can call and get the payoff on that vehicle. They're going to give you a number. So you call the bank and say, hey, Chase, I've got 2 years left on my lease. What's my payoff if I want to buy the car today? They're going to send you an email, a fax, or they're going to let you know over the phone your payoff's X amount of dollars. Let's just say it's $20,000. Now you can take that particular number and go investigate it in the marketplace. So right now, this video should be timestamped because it's 2021, but the market is super high. So let's just say your payoff's $20,000 and you go get a buy bid on your vehicle from a dealer and the buy bid is $22,000. Guess what? You just made $2,000. So you can basically take that vehicle to the dealer, they pay the vehicle off, and then give you the check for the remaining balance. Another thing you can do is buy the car yourself. So if you've got the $20,000, you could just write a check to the Chase, send that check in, get the title, and then advertise the car yourself to sell. So basically, maybe you want to sell that car for $24,000, right? And you just paid $20,000. Now, there's a catch there. You still haven't paid the remaining taxes, so you'll have to pay taxes on the 20 before you can sell the car for 24. So you have to do the math, right? Like you think you're going to get 24 and the dealer's only going to give you 22 and you think you're coming out ahead, but when you figure out you've got to pay taxes, which could be 8-10% on the $20,000, that's $2,000. So even if you do sell it for 24, you're still only making $2,000. I hope that makes sense. But, you know, in most cases I've seen, it's best if you just get someone to give you a bid on the vehicle that doesn't have to pay taxes, like a dealer or a leasing company, and that way they can help you get that car moved and you don't have to pay taxes on it. Now, there's going to be some of you out there who want to end your lease early, and it's not really 2 years early, it's maybe 6 months early. And the only reason you're wanting to end this lease early is because maybe you're having a kid and your car needs to be bigger and you want to lease another car. Well, you can take those remaining payments and roll them into another lease. That is going to make you have a higher monthly payment on the next lease, but it is something that's a possibility. I wouldn't really recommend these steps, but you have to know you're not as locked in as you think. You could take, you know, if you only have like 6 months remaining on that lease, it's best to shop around and see which companies have the most favorable programs going at the time. Some aren't doing first payments, some are have a loyalty program where they'll basically get rid of your turn-in fee. So you could take a look at those options and then roll those payments into your lease and move on with a new car that's big enough for the family. These are just options you can consider. I'm not a proponent of doing it early. I think if you sign a 36-month lease, you should basically finish that program and then do another one. Coming out a couple of months early when they have loyalty programs and they're waiving the last payment, those types of things are great. But if you need to break the lease, I think it's an extreme situation, just like if you're trying to get out of a 60-month loan after 3 years. You know, so make sure you consider these things carefully and find an expert that will give you this information so that you can look at it objectively instead of emotionally. So I hope this video helped you out today. Don't forget to like this video, mash the subscribe button, and come back next time for the next video that we have. I'm Ronnie Haskins. I hope you have a great day.